Hello and welcome to LimbicTV, broadcasting from Edinburgh, Scotland. Tonight we have the fabulous Rodney Relax of Yellow Cafe fame and poetry duos The ShellSuit Massacre and Northern Upland Sheep Strategy. It's a mouthful I think a poet could probably only say. Without further ado, over to Rodney. Hello, Rodney.
Hello there, Dave.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for coming down.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
So you are going to perform a 30-minute set of spoken word with visuals by SPK and a soundtrack composed by many characters.
Well, we composed it, but we just had these lovely guests playing the violin and guitars.
So you have Callum Easter.
Yeah.
Yep, and Rosie and Belle.
Yeah.
The roadblock twins.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have Tom Evans and violin.
Yeah.
Yep. Magic. Okay.
Just gonna say it was lovely to work with these people. It was a pleasure.
Okay.
So thanks.
Okay. Sorry, small technical hitch there. Solved. So, okay, Rodney, take it away.
Okay. Welcome to LimbicTV tonight, and I'm the guest. My name is Rodney Relax, and we are here, standing here in the shadow of Easter Road Football Stadium. New wave, first wave, second wave, third wave. To all the other passengers, there are no other passengers. These are places that we will remember. Austerity, homelessness, hunger, COVID-19 responses, masks on Instagram, dead-end kids and Brexit tantrums. At the end of a long journey, we are now entering the twilight zone, into the unknown. Old wave, new wave, first wave, second wave, third wave, no wave.
Next up, Rodney Relax.
Ex-Muslim, ex-Christian, ex-spaceman, ex-Scientologist, ex-Orthodox Jew, ex-Marxist, ex-anarcho-syndicalist, ex-punk, ex-poet, ex-Labour, ex-trade unionist, ex-socialist, ex-conservative, ex-UKIP, ex-Brexit, ex-Indie, ex-Roman, ex-jihadist, ex-man, ex-woman, ex-human.
Ex-human, human, 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 human.
Three hooded girls who arrived with a gang of boys in tracksuit. We had not seen them before. Council estates were a dream come true for working class families. Now it's a theme park for delinquent hunts, with Banksy-inspired stab-proof vests for protection. Fearsome dogs trained to kill youth in schools of violence. Street punks, fight back. Vegan queer armies, raise your flags. Veterans, every day is a battle for reconciliation, but there is only a rotten dystopian manifesto to curb freedom of expression. Some of us religiously follow misguided politicians with super-nationalistic tendencies to the return of empire, delinquent hunts.
There are different parts of the world where cameras and press was always a kind of taboo. And more east you get, less they like with a camera for many, many reasons. And most of them no good.
I promise you, I will only write joyful things, but it's Christmas. Don't you hate dark issues at Christmas time? So let's leave this place, that no foreign grief or miseries taint the paradise of Christmas dreams. In Budapest, after heroically resisting the cold European winter, it was spring as the ice broke on the Danube. Snow as thick as thieves had melted on its banks. Ancient armies had fought here, from the Romans to the Vandals. It has seemed that centuries have passed since we abandoned England, yet we still haven't found a home. We carry our karma like a strand of sadness. Happiness writes white, it doesn't show up on the page. Don't worry, she said in a good fairy's voice, poking her chin over her sweater. As she smiled, her teeth were small and bright. It wasn't the smile of a fully fledged woman, but a young girl, adventurous smile, maybe still a fearless boy. As the main streets filled up with their banners hanging from the balconies, their arms are raised as if they were singing, Merry Christmas!
And I put my camera and took a portrait of him. And while I shot my portrait of him from 2 yards, he was killed by a sniper. It was a very clean, somehow very beautiful death, and I think that's what I remember most from this war.
In a different orbit. Lost in a foreign city after drinking several glasses of vodka. No street lights, night patrols, policemen, detectives. We shouldn't be on the pavement after dark. The sound of gunshots, the whispering behind the stone promenades, creeping down to the river. Women echo, women reflection, women mirror, a man's silhouette, a man's footsteps, a man in uniform. Women echo, women reflection, women mirror. Europe is asleep. Andre banged his fist on the table, his brow gathered, his voice firm, torn up pieces of paper, a little glass vase and smithereens. There was an equilateral cross daubed on the wall, the same old story, going from house to house, coming from the kitchen, the sound of boiling water. She called out, Are you there, Andre? Are you there, Andre?
You never know if you have a price picture or not. But because when you shoot, nearly every picture is the same to you. And the price picture is born in the imagination of editors and public who sees them.
Suddenly it became clear that this was never going to end quietly, with a black or white, this or that, who you're with, what you believe in, who you hate, who will kill you. She had never known a world where the sacred with the profane were so connected. Cats perched on tin-plated rooftops, fun-loving drunks sharpening a knife, bundles covered in cloth with sleeping dogs still alive within the dead lights of the city. Under attack, the war was about to begin with a faint orange glow moving towards us.
Above my head, and even didn't look and click the picture, but then go over the trench. And I sent my picture back with a lot of other pictures. But I took, stayed in Spain for 3 months, and when I came back I was a very famous photographer because that camera just caught a man at the moment when he was shot.
Breathing in the aroma of the lime trees during spring's recent revival, and an awkward German from American bar, 3-day-old beard, spent the entire night drinking. Sometimes I wish you were here to remember the same dream we talked about as children. They dressed us in our Sunday best. Christina sat down to drink her tea, whilst the other girls tried on their new wardrobes, the contraband lipstick, Their weapons were bulletproof optimism as they hid the pistols under their blue coats. She said goodnight to Andre on Christmas Eve with another cup of tea. European winter.
We're only fishing now.
News from another star.
I can't handle all the light.
And here is the news from another star. A blue shadow was passing over its surface. There were eruptions into space. It was outside of our own solar system. NASA were perplexed. The news had been cleverly filtered by the US government. The FBI and CIA were involved. It was classified information. But the world had heard them. The first transmissions from another species on a different planet. Was it another Earth? Did they have smartphones and colour TVs with plasma screens? Would they have discovered a cure for cancer? Did they play the celebrity fame game? Were they at war with one another? Did they have Instagram and Twitter? Would they have great philosophers, astronomers who had dreamt of such a possibility that there could ever be life beyond our own small galaxy? This is the News 24. And here is the latest bulletin on the newly discovered extraterrestrial life forms. Light years, light years, light years away, away, away. Light years. On the Zeitgeist, the Stuttgart Angel. On the Zeitgeist, the Stuttgart Angel. Street smart folded up her passport in her silver space boots. She had an otherworldly singing voice, sang us a lullaby. Sleep, my little darling, sleep, for the lights have gone out over Europe. Sit down and take your seats, put your flags away and take them with you. Lovesick Brexit blues. Effigies were set to light in the Northern Uplands. The day we said goodbye. Get it up, you Boris. How do we say goodbye to our neighbours? The lump in our throats, a poignant song of farewell over the raised middle finger of defiant good riddance. How long will it take for warm words to turn into gritted teeth? On a late winter's night, on a late winter's night. Divided on the day of leaving as we were being and deciding to leave. There was rejoicing, there was a sense of bereavement on our drecht winter's night. This is our star, look after it for us. We still love you, missing you already. On the Zeitgeist, Stuttgart Angel, on the Zeitgeist, Stuttgart Angel, lovesick Brexit blues, lovesick Brexit blues.
And on tomorrow's world, a trip into the world of illusion where anything can happen.
The other passengers survived. There were no other passengers. Only those who were there knew what it was like in tomorrow's worlds. There was no fate that was worse than to live in an age that was not your own. You will always remain a child if you're unaware of the past. Brexiteers have a nostalgia for an imperial empire. They have a fantasy of their former colonies that are about to re-embrace them in tomorrow's worlds. Time only loves those that have given birth to themselves, its own children. Never can it come to love the children of the past. Such is the passage of time, through which everything passes. Time alone moves swiftly, noiselessly as it occurs. In yesterday's fighting, time had been torn to pieces. The fiddle told the folks that the time had come, others that the time had passed. Meanwhile, the eruptions along the Danube would say otherwise in tomorrow's worlds. In the midst of the crisis, with very little help, with very little support, things haven't changed. It's just the same in tomorrow's worlds. Tomorrow's worlds. Rain, 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 assassin. Whilst they remained silent, they didn't know the whereabouts of the assassins, where their hideouts were, and where they had disappeared. We would wake them to try and find out what happened to them. So breathe, calm down, drink your lemonade. We don't know. All we know is that it's imperative to find out what the circumstances were. Witness where, witness who. Don't worry about that. Thanks, people. Often vanish without a trace these days. The smell of the leather raincoats was enough to terrify the prey. A dragnet had been formed to flush them out. She drank her lemonade and thought of the last time they had kissed. Don't worry, we'll find him. They'll have banners in the town centre with children and music, whilst the others will be there, looking to run like refugees into a vast universe. Then the rain started, as we said it would. Now it's stopped. Rain, assassin. Rain, assassin. Rain, assassin. Rain, assassin. Assassin. Rain, assassin. Fabulously, exotically alien, an enchanting combination, a delicious interlude, a disorientating blend of the familiar and the weird. Sometimes, however, when the prevailing winds no longer brought a freshness from the sea, a dust would break through the cities from the burning deserts to the south. A hinterland too vast and ancient, a dreamlike hybrid place with spacious streets and clean-limbed masterpieces. As for us, we fear being swamped by a barbarous culture, unassimilated, not of our own. Be advised, she said. Love passes, work alone remains. She was extraordinary. Suddenly we saw hearses drawn by a span of black horses. They were conducting funerals for the civilian dead from Anzio, as the daughters from Naples strolled in the VR Appia in flimsy floral printed frocks looking for bubblegum chewing Yankees. The world will break the gentle, the kind, and the good. The girls' voices, cool, efficient, unchanging. Hello, Queen Aerodrome. 1,000 voices, so remarkable because they seem so calm and poised. 12:50 over. They have been up all night, still looking wide awake, wonderfully pink-cheeked, perfectly collected, not frozen stiff. Croix de guerre. And at last, tuftons of youth, who said that only the kind could be kind. This was the time of reckoning. They didn't understand us, as it was already dark when the shooting stopped. Some were only wounded. It was dangerous to move. Then we went to the gallows. We didn't see how they could have done it. This was the great ideological failure. A moral should be short, so that the best points from the moral of the story is short. It would only take 10 minutes to see, then a paragraph to describe. It is dark, the child is so small, a thin little girl, a tiny soft face, enormous dark eyes, arms like flower stalks, and hungry. Hey Johnny, where are we? Hey Johnny, where are we? Hey Johnny! Where are we? Johnny. Always someone else is round. Doors are not locked. Small children, parents, friends, neighbours left to play, to behave with others. The postal service works well, almost. Trains arrive on time and frequently. Trust teachers, colleagues and strangers. The sun rises reliably. Milk goes off predictably. Terror arouses suspicion, betrayal. We feel let down without promises. Vicious reprisals. Holding fire, refusing to denounce. Abstract theories, inflicts violent rhetorical causes. Genocide spreads fear. Etymologists show us the language of hostility, but also of resolution. Reconciliation, understanding of others' reactions. Of private security, the collapse of 9/11 with its gleaming towers. Mafia style, immoral acts, inhumane atrocities of which we look for in identities. To avoid detection, to avert danger. Ethnic politics, lavish on human rights, not on duties. What can you do for me? It's almost never, what can I do for you? Democracy has no room for altruism. Trust creates itself. Perhaps it is your turn to get the next round in.
Recognize that.
Join the ranks of the armed forces as you go to Sainsbury's. Pick up a leaflet at the checkout. There'll be no place to hide as they take prisoners away in broad daylight. You'll have bought your lottery tickets, stacked up on booze, maybe drop into the cafe for breakfast, almost choking the news that criticism of the church and its values can label you a subversive, therefore liable to be taken in for questioning. Pit bulls outside the corner shop till they're shot, children kick them in the street, revenge for previous attacks on their brothers and sisters. Beehives burnt at the request of Neighbourhood Watch for being too close to their well-kept hedges. Lovers beaten for being too daring. Boys playing football, listening to rap music, scaring parents with their couldn't care less attitudes. Nusra, front, thug, life appears to be a better option than a constant diet of propaganda and conformity to the push down our throats and call it reality, one teenager said. Gay's death is at the door. Let them in to polish their boots. As they nail you up on the wall next to your photos of the Queen and the holiday snaps. Watch online your murder in real time. News at 10 isn't as snappy. Of course, you can always be blindfolded right up to your last moments. This song will always be tragic, always be sad. Invisible magic and methane rain, shores and lakes as big as the Pacific Ocean, and a journey to outer space. Your blonde shoulder-length hair in Paris and the River Seine before the war. In later years there would be black snow covering the Louvre, the Notre Dame Cathedral. In Dresden there would be no buildings left. Lay among abandoned books, childlike crying to the ruins of the city, dolls, shoes, gramophones, twisted metal. As the soldiers disappeared, the bombers no longer terrorized us from above. The fearsome dogs are put into cages and the shops opened. Showbiz took over as American filmmakers covered the Allies' occupation in Europe. We made our way to Saturn in a slow trajectory, passing its moons as we landed in its orbits. It was an eerie sensation. The sky was white like chalk, covering trees, oceans, dry riverbeds. There was little life as darkness came slow across the earth. An eerie sensation. There were travellers dressed in Roman armour, found amongst the ancient ruins, with Nazi insignia and fascist badges. They were outlaws from a silent age. From the ghosts of the James Younger gang, the plastic age, the age of speed. Cities had no poetry, metal machines hunkered in quiet desolation as vanquished avenues. No one cried for the crumbling statues of the broken heroes. No planet to walk, to dream, saw Breviendo. There were people barely surviving, weeping at altars inside cathedrals. No gods would look upon them. Voodoo nor witchcraft could save them. When I woke, it was an eerie sensation. It would come again, an eerie sensation. Better come with us. We never wept over the loss, the which we barely heard of again. It is an unsafe journey to take, out all hours drinking with the veterans. We yearn for a fight. We do not attempt to hide their contempt for the father's situation of one who has a son who wants to draw his gun, the other who has his head stuck inside a book all day. Philosophy or war? Shock after shock after shock, sharp to the heart in these lonely places, hidden away in the thick thorny woods, cut down into the shadows for a solitary birdsong amongst the branches. He hears crying, As to the prospect of living with a wife, that was out of the question. He still cut a handsome figure. His sexual desire was waning, but he did enjoy dinner parties where pretty young women were present. He liked to flirt as he got older. He stared bleakly over the hill of the town, blue in the early spring light. Closest lieutenants advised him not to brood over his daughter, who had died 5 years earlier. He was in anguish. He would take the blame, never a strong part of his character. In his youth, the only realistic alternatives were once again denied him. That was all he had to give. He never wept over his loss. An alternating sense of singularity could be the key to success of entire armies, also of people. The enemy changes, they transform from being a hunted prey to the terrible threatening them, whilst we becomes a frail, timid I. A solid roar of machine gun fire, a united enemy is now invincible. Often it is the understanding of this transition that gives warfare the right to be called an art form. And antiquity, of course. They would employ augurs who would sacrifice sentient beings, looking for auspices like supernatural signs, especially flights of birds, lightning flashes. If ruled unfavourable, no public business or a battle could be conducted. The moon was low last night, as all the ravers kissed, hunching down amongst the trees. Then the moon appeared again, almost like a peekaboo, peekaboo. We could see the white tips of the tails of foxes as all the ravers left the scene. Moon.
Unsere Mütter, unsere Väter. In einer anderen Zeit.
In a different time. In the process of learning from ourselves in a different time, can we say goodbye to this world as we knew it?
In einem anderen Krieg.
In a different war. In the process of disengagement with the enemy, in a different war, can we expect conciliatory actions towards a peace settlement?
In einem anderen Land.
In a different country. In the process of alienation from our ethnic neighbours in a different country, do we have a common language that can bear witness? The eyes of the silver orb turn their gaze onto our planet. The tears are hot, molten liquid, metallic waves crashing down on a world broken with too much sorrow.
Unsere Mütter, unsere Väter.
Our mother, our father. Our mother, our father.
The war is over. It is never over.
Die Generation des Krieges.
Where did they all
Strangeness itself, something else. The essentially not possible. A surrender to dissolute forces, searching helplessly for the dead. For they are fused together, reduced to ashes. We are not equipped to comprehensively conceive that all of our loved ones are now only felt as silhouettes, shadows, a certain presence of them once being here. We do not see them. We know not what or why we are here. Missing in time are our voices and a lover's dreams and father's prayers in school playgrounds and in Auschwitz, Sasura. Strangeness itself. Afghanistan rule the wonders of the modern world. Penicillin, the Hubble telescope, aeroplanes, skyscrapers, the Brooklyn Bridge, great poems and writers, new atheists, quantum physics, astrobiology, exoplanets, discovered and observed. There are those who do not see it, refuse to see it. Afghanistan will rot. Bloodstreak, sudden surprise attack, spreading flame and terror. Stuka screaming as the dove tank breaking through, thrusting forward, self-propelled, rapid-fire heavy guns, lightning speed of infantry, men on motorised wheels, mazes of electronic communications, intricate radio telegraphic networks, a monstrous mechanised juggernaut such as the earth had ever seen. Stuka, 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 Stuka attack. Stuka, 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 Stuka attack. Comanche territory. It was a day with a nice light, a cigarette, a war. It was all quiet again by sundown. A thin film of black smoke still rose to the sky. Come on, you can come tomorrow. Go back on Sunday. Everyone is being threatened. Everyone is at risk. It's just impossible. The generous checkbook was offered by the sinister machine gun. Retaliation, villages systematically razed. Are you ready? As we slept off the drink, the girls slung their rifles on their backs. Big Jim the Jeepster said that he had missed his mother as much as he did his father. We drove the brandy down the corner of his throat so they could speak his short, sharp sentences from the side of his mouth. The liberation of Paris was the most unforgettable day in the world. The most unforgettable day +7 was the bluest. The food was gone, the champagne had dried up, and girls had returned home to explain the facts of liberation. The shops had closed, the streets were empty, when we suddenly realised that the war was not over. Vesuvius kept puffing away, undisturbed as usual. The shells went straight over our heads, while the sun warmed our backs, wishing that it was only the birds flying or singing in the air above us. The smell of the flowers mingled with those dead, dirty little feet of the children. They had stolen weapons and had fought the Germans for 14 days. The road back to Spain is a long one, for those men who lived to return may be too old to be kissed by those young brunettes, blonde sweethearts and fiery redheads. In the infernal of the battlefield, the searing heat still searching for snipers and camouflage. Let's close the door now. It was a day with a nice light on the Hudson River as we welcomed the boys home. Let's close the door now. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was fabulous, Rodney.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, what a thing. Well, so I've been watching the telly, if you like, with all the visuals and stuff on it. But you've got more for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have indeed. Have
Yeah.
indeed.
You have We See Red.
So I'm now going to turn this microphone round.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're going to introduce Russell Byrne. And
Yes.
there he
Good.
There he is. Hi, Russell. Sorry we had to put you in a wee room. Say hello to us.
Hello, guys. Rodney, that was fantastic.
Thank you very much, Russell.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
What a production. How could
I know.
you can't beat that? Like,
I don't know, mate.
it looks amazing, sounds amazing. It's just God.
Well, it was good fun doing it. With my man, Spook. Of course.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the sound. Yeah.
So
Really
you guys
wonderful.
do a thing called We See Red. And you're gonna
We
do-
are We See Red.
You're going to do that for us now. Right. Brilliant. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, we're going to do 4 numbers.
4 numbers.
Yep.
To do a little bit pie fingery on my.
5 finger there, Russell Byrne.
Let's go.
And this first piece is dedicated to Carol Sagan. You could not even see continents. I still thought it might be useful. Wait a little bit. Take a look. Everybody you love, everybody you know, ever heard of, from Gandhi to Muhammad Ali, on our wee pale blue planet, boundaries are not in evidence. Every brave and coward, every political doctrine, from Marx to Mayo, destroyers of civilizations, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, hopeful child, every mother and father, every superstar, every supreme leader, every burnt-out cagney, finding it remarkable that we live in a universe of something. But look, just wait. There's nothingness is heading on a collision course right towards us. Take another peek. Cosmic blue future. Grand accidents. Well, as the great scientists expressed in the shimmering lights of neon, with no creator or master plan for us, we'll have to figure it out for ourselves. But for the sake of our planet, can we be trusted? Without gods and with precious few heroes, which galaxy are you from? Carol Sagan. Carol Sagan. Without gods, with precious few heroes. Carol Sagan.
Nice.
Nice. This is, you cannot be serious.
John McEnroe.
The very young, the very old. The very young, the very old in their beds, as wives were preparing their own hot water bottles. Men in their libraries smoked and drank, whilst back in the dawn, the word from the new generation was that a clear-sighted strategy is emerging as war was approaching ever closer to where we once lived. There were beat-up buses on the road. People came from tree-top barricades. In the fields, different New Age tribes were gathering as we were left holding the baby. In the waste, amongst the carnage, in the city's ripped-back sides, the air was full of our cries. Not so pretty, vacant. Swift speeding, silver to cocaine. Dreamt of Olympus Mons, the great volcano on the planet Mars. My sister and I used to dream of the great red spot on Jupiter. We didn't know then in our youthful exuberance that there were other galaxies outside our own solar system. 1979, winter of discontent. Labour isn't working. Crisis. What crisis? When we were teenagers with our childhoods behind us, grey streets, bomb sites, London traffic. We were still watching the Sweeney. 3 channels on the telly. Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe under the floodlights of the US Open. Must have been the semi-final. CND, A&L, RAR badges in your protest marches with the ruts and misty and roots. Stealing the stars from the sky at night. Blazing youth and senseless acts of beauty. It was 1980. Now this is dedicated to the miners' strike from 1984-85. This is called Miners' Lament. Miners' Lament. With Coco Whitson on bass too. Cheers, Coco. Down below, Jack. Stand myself down below, Jack. I'll drink some whiskey, I'll have some wine. I'll never go down those mines again. Stand myself down below, Jack. Stand myself down below, Jack. I'll drink some whiskey, I'll have some wine. I'll never go down those mines again. Not long now till the coffin lid closes. For my poor family to carry me close and set me on the road to Wigan Pier. Lie me down now, taking my leave of you. Lie me down now, for I'm taking my leave of you. Mary will weep, Tommy will mope, but I'll never go down those mines again. Sweetness, sweetness, matter sweet. Sweetness, sweetness, matter sweet in the rain. Stand myself down below, Jack. Stand myself down below, Jack. I'll drink some whiskey, I'll have some wine. I'll never go down those mines again. Stand myself down below, Jack. I'll drink some whiskey, I'll have some wine. I'll never go down those mines again. Sweetness, sweetness, sweet meadow, sweet in the rain. Better than digging for coal for the rich man. That was okay. That worked. Thank you very much. I'm not very good at the high-pitched voice, though. Hope that was okay. And finally now, this is Russell and I worked on this track. The last track was actually written in 1990, and Russell managed to find it on YouTube. I don't know how he found it. But this track, the next track, is the first track we done basically from total scratch. Yeah. And we managed to get involved. The wonderful Callum Easter on the accordion, and we managed to haul in the services of Leanne Dudley.
And the pipes.
And the pipes, and the bagpipes. So I hope you're watching, guys. This is Goodbye to England. Goodbye to England, just Chilean conservatives, to the spirit of the Blitz, to Enoch Powell's rivers of blood. Goodbye to the Roman invasion, Julius Caesar, to the resistance, Boadicea, to the English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell, the war on the Falklands, Margaret Thatcher, to the Brexit fiasco. Goodbye to Boris Johnson, to the heroes of the New Left. Goodbye to the White Cliffs of Dover, to the Eton Rifles. Goodbye to the midnight trains on the Underground, to crash at the Conway Hall. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye to the Universal Credit Scheme. Goodbye to the Hounds of Love, to the Quartz Strangers and Charm. Goodbye to the All England Club, to the Chelsea Flower Show. Goodbye to the Northern Terrestrial Orchids in Kensington Gardens. Goodbye to Christopher Robin, to A.A. Milnes. Goodbye to Lindisfarne, Fog in the Tynes, all mine, to the War of the Roses. Goodbye to the World Cup in 1966. Goodbye to the Salisbury Plains, to the Lake District. Goodbye to Abbey Road, the Beatles, to Graham Greene, Brighton Rock, to the Chalk Hills and the Chilterns. Goodbye to Cumbria on Hadrian's Wall. The demarcation of empire. Goodbye to Richard the Lionheart, to religious wars. Goodbye to the Windsors. Goodbye to the English Channel, to Whitehall, the Houses of Parliament, to the Union Jack. Good night to Auntie Beebe, to Anne Nightingale. Goodbye to John Peel, to Keith Moon, to Vivian Stanshall. Goodbye to England.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you so much, guys. That was super fabulous.
thank you very much, Russell, on the keyboards there, and his wee prison cell in there.
There he is.
Jackbox.
Hey. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
That was great, Rodney. It's so much relevant to my generation and that.
Well, I hope it could pass down into the
Like,
the generations.
yeah, from Tomorrow's World to the Miners thing. To
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Thank you.
I don't
Hope
know.
everybody enjoyed it.
I don't know whether I feel old or that I have heritage. Maybe
No,
both.
we're not old, man. We're timeless. Doesn't matter.
Timeless. I
Doesn't
feel
matter what
timeless.
century you're in.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming down. We run on donations. If anyone out there has a spare quid and they want to give it to us, you will find the link in the video descriptions below. We have lots of exciting things coming up. On the 29th, we have a Gutter Blood guitar combo, which is a mix of blues, indie, doom, punk, and prog. They're great. They sound amazing. Jemima Thews and Tim Lane with a selection of their own songs and drums and electronics on the 3rd of October. Ali Affleck, Brian Kellogg, Colin Steele, Roy Percy on the 6th of October for some classy jazz. 10th of October, the Reverse Engineer with his wonky techno. Holy Savage are going to punk us up again on the 13th. Let's Be Avenue on the 17th. Math Rock and Indie from Glasgow. They're amazing. Hayley Beavis on the 20th with her own brand of singer-songwriter. And Post-Punk Kings Bikini Body on the 24th of October. So loads of things. You'll find them on the website once I get it updated. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on Tuesday. Good night.